And taking the face-off, Waterford going left to right. Luther Wade for the Lancers, and Matt Bogashevsky, a midfielder for East Lyme.
So Waterford right now is going with 2 poles on the wings, which is really not a traditional matchup. They've got a short stick defender right now on an attacker. So Waterford's right now throwing some strategy at East Lyme and to see what goes on here in the scuffle.
Ball is loose, and the face-off is loose and picked up by Waterford, and they will start with the first possession of the ball game.
A bit of a scrum there in the face-off, Coach.
Well, Coach Landry's strategy on two poles on the wings paid off on the first ground ball. You got 2 6-foot poles hanging out there rather than 1 3-footer. So, you might see that more as the night goes on.
We had a chance to talk to the coach last night. We kind of talked to him about the pace of the game, and Coach for East Lyme had said, if this game is to be played at 8-6 or 8-7, it's going to be a very, very close ball game.
Matt Bauman carrying the ball right over midfield for East Lyme as he passes off to Bogashevsky, who carries up the right side. East Lyme looking to settle into its first offensive possession of the ball game.
Patience, probably a big deal on the offensive end, Coach, for some of these teams, especially early going in the ball game.
Well, for sure, it's a first set of matchups for the night. The kids don't know who's faster than who. They don't know who's got a slicker stick than who. So it's really your first chance to sort of test the waters.
Nice matchup early as Jack Erickson has the assignment on James McCoy, the flame-throwing attacker for East Lyme. Inside, McCoy gets it right in front, tries to get off a shot, but nicely defended by Waterford. Scooped out and carried by Bars.
Well, I don't think there's any secret there, Casey. When McCoy gets the ball, he's going to attract a host of defenders.
Bars nicely up ahead to Lafort, and Lafort will carry down the sideline, and we have our first flag of the game, Coach. This is all you.
Right now I'm counting some numbers, and I'm trying to see if somebody's offsides, because it looks like there's been a bad substitution somewhere.
Offsides, what's the call?
The leading scorer for Waterford this year, Logan Bowdish, is a player to keep an eye on, as is Bray Griffith-Potter. Those are the 2 leading scorers, along with Michael Lafort. They're the main attackers for the Lancers.
So East Lyme was offsides, been hit with a 30-second technical, and Waterford's man up now.
So there's actually a man in the penalty box.
There's a man in the penalty box. Waterford's 6v5. And this is where you see a lot of set plays in the 6v5 and the 5v4 kind of scenarios.
So it is like hockey in that respect. You got some specialists here. And the first shot on goal whipped in by Lafort, and a nice save by Mac Bentley of the Vikings. We were saying in the pregame, Coach, I see a lot of different sports represented in lacrosse, which sort of helps make lacrosse its own. Certainly, people think of football, soccer, but I see a lot of basketball in the offensive sets. You were mentioning earlier trying to get mismatches, and I see a lot of hockey in the way that screens in front of the goal kit tender, as well as the man advantage. So a lot of different sports represented for the average fan at home, but sort of makes lacrosse its own unique sport.
And it lends itself to a lot of different kinds of athletes. So the bigger kid can hang around the crease. The kid who's got super fast reflexes can be your goalie. And, up and down the field, you're going to have a whole bunch of variety.
We had a penalty on the field as McCoy went in and rifled a shot in, and Mima. We'll see what the official calls.
So you have your second offsides of the night, and now Waterford was. So East Lyme is back to 6, and Waterford's reduced down to 5, so you have basically a power play for 30 seconds.
Coach, is that a delayed call on a penalty? Is it as soon as the play stops, then the play is assessed?
In the high school game, when the ball hits the ground.
Okay.
Well, and to be even more technical, in the high school game, when the ball leaves the offensive restraining area.
Okay.
Then the delay penalty would then be off, and we would then have the stoppage in play.
So here in the early going, both teams trying to get a feel for what the other team is going to do defensively. Waterford with the ball, breaking out with its goalie not in the goal, so you'll have to explain what's going on with that.
So in high school lacrosse, you've got 20 seconds to get it past the midline and 10 to get it back in the offensive zone. And Waterford's close to running out of time right now, and they just get it over the midline. So they've just cleared that 20-second hurdle, and they boxed the ball. So now Waterford now has an offensive possession coming up.
Ball comes up the side, up the alleyway, as they would call it in lacrosse.
And
easier way to move the ball up and down the field.
Least path of resistance.
Yes.
Keep it on the edges.
It was Spencer Hoagland, by the way, the familiar name, Spencer Hoagland, the Waterford quarterback
He's a
in
tough
football.
kid.
That's who they had run it up the sideline to get across midfield. So, like you said, different skill sets. You know, you need speed, you need endurance. Obviously, aside from the stick handling and other, specific talents that lacrosse brings.
Between lacrosse and football, I'm sure Spencer Hoagland has about 7,000 yards for his career on that field.
Pezzolesi straight up, fires a shot, bounces, and runs out of bounds. And the possession will be with Waterford behind the goal. Quick shot in, no good. A nice attempt that time by Potter, but East Lyme recovers and will try to break out. Catanzaro down the sideline, loses the ball loose. Still on the ground, finally scooped up by Bowdish for the Lancers.
And a broken stick down there in the field, too, number 3 for East Lyme.
And it forces you to run off the field, so you're basically man down until you get a new stick, because you can't play without the stick or with a broken stick.
That's something, huh?
Pezzolesi really getting hounded by Peitsch down there, but finally recovers, and the ball gets loose on the turf again, scooped up nicely by Cardoza. Cardoza straight in front of the goal. Around the side, and now back behind the goal goes Lafort.
That a dangerous spot for the goalie when the offensive player is behind the goal, Coach?
Well, it forces the goalie to turn his head.
Lafort rifles a shot just wide, a save made by Bentley, but Waterford will retain. Now they lose possession, ball loose, kicked on the ground by East Lyme, and finally by Hoagland. And Hoagland will cross midfield for Waterford and head down the left sideline. Nice check that time by East Lyme, and Boguszewski comes out with it in front. And a goal by Ned Shields, the midfielder, cutting in front on a nice pass from Boguszewski.
They saw the turnover at midfield by a Hoagland, Coach, and East Lyme cashed in on the first goal of the ball game.
Nettie Shields made a nice back cut there on his defender. Saw a lot of space, and nice awareness by the East Lyme player coming down the right wing and finding Ned Shields open behind him.
Now, I talked to you about this before the broadcast, too. I mean, possessions. Are possessions at a high value in lacrosse? I mean, because there's a lot of up and down, a lot of action. Turnovers a big part of this game. We just saw it right there.
Turnovers kill you.
Yeah.
And turnovers in a 1-0 game or a 0-0 game, they sort of start the momentum.
I guess that's kind of like a universal sports theme, right?
Yeah.
Turnovers, there's
Turnovers
no
and
sport
penalties.
in which turnovers are good.
Momentum is a fickle thing in high school sports, Casey O'Neill.
You've said that a few times.
I have.
East Lyme on the attack, and a shot up the middle. No good by Belandis, but East Lyme retains possession behind the goal. And we're going to have to explain that as well to the folks at home on what happens on a shot that goes out of bounds.
Well, it basically becomes your rebound in basketball. The shot that goes past the goal line, goes through the out-of-bounds line. The team closest to the point of when the ball went out of bounds, the team closest to that end line, to the space where the ball left, is going to now maintain or regain possession. So affectionately called the run out, it is a rebound. And it's a big part of lacrosse, and having the goal backed up all the time is a really big deal.
Out of the goal comes Mima. East Lyme retains possession. They had an open goal for a minute. Quick shot, no good. Rebound, McCoy. Ball loose. Mima finally sees it and gets a stick on it, scoops it up, and Waterford will have a chance to break out.
I think McCoy was too close there to let it rip, Casey. Look, it was a little handcuffed on that shot.
Didn't have a good angle.
Yeah.
You see a little too below, far below goal line extended.
You mentioned before, Sports Doctor, about being uncomfortable with a player behind the net. The good news is, like in hockey, while the player's behind the net, they can't score. Then the net's protected. The bad news is you've got to play fundamentals because you have to know where the ball could be coming from. Do you see the wraparound attempt, or can the player not be that close to the goal to do like a wraparound shot like you see in hockey? How close can the offensive player get before they're deemed to be in the crease?
Well, if they touch it, they're in it. So you're going to see kids attack both sides of the pipes from the back of the cage, from basically what's called X, the region behind the goal. It's a real advantageous place to be because you're forcing the goalie to turn his back to shooters, and he can't get sort of lined up to targets that are going to start firing shots at him. As the IQ and as the level of lacrosse goes up, more and more of the offense comes out the back.
Bowdish fires a shot wide. Nice save that time by Bentley.
Fastball that time by Bowdish. He had a good look at that one, Coach, and just a little bit wide right.
I would affectionately refer to Bowdish as a sniper.
Sniper,
and he makes a lot of shots. He puts a lot of balls in spaces that don't look like you can get a ball in there. He's got a nice set of skills on him.
Now, when the ball's behind the goal, Coach,
in the X,
where does the goalie? Where's his eyes? In front of him, following his defenders.
Well, the goalie's going to be probably holding a pipe,
right,
making sure that he's shutting off the near angle, talking to his defense all the time of the location of the ball. Because now his defenders have their back to the ball, so they don't know where the possible feed's coming from or where the dodge is coming from out from behind the cage. So right now East Lyme's guarding the Waterford player out behind the cage, and the East Lyme's in a little bit of a zone right now.
Lafort tries to find a player cutting towards the goal, but a nice job by Bentley intercepting the pass. And East Lyme will have possession of the ball and try to get it out of their own zone.
Big Mac, as you would refer to him, goalie for the Vikings.
All the way across midfield are the Vikings. McCoy now with the ball. Over to Bauman. Bauman on the left wing, settles things down for the Vikings, and the Vikings seem content. And as soon as I say that, Bauman spins, finds McCoy, but McCoy loses it. Ball loose in front of the goal, still on the turf, and scooped up nicely by the Lancers. Heading down the sideline is Stewart, who's bumped by the Vikings. Nice check out there.
A big hit that time. Chris Landry down there didn't like the call, or lack thereof at Chris, All-American at Springfield.
Oh, he's got quite a reputation. He was quite a player.
He's a good player, yeah.
A big lefty sniper, crease guy. And the town of Waterford's lucky to have him. He knows a lot about lacrosse, and he's great for the guys.
1-0 East Lyme, 2:35 remaining here in the first period. Vikings with the possession.
So right now Waterford's trying to shut off somebody. They've got number 12, Kevin Close, basically face guarding number 3,
Sean
on
Williams.
East Lyme. So it looks like Coach Landry thinks he's important to sort of disrupt in the offense.
There's a steal by Wade of Waterford. Wade crosses midfield and loses the ball on the turf, tries to scoop and pin the ball, but the Vikings will recover, and we're going to get a referee's whistle.
Loose ball push. Waterford player had his head down to pick up a ground ball, got pushed from the back, and Waterford maintains possession.
That's what I would do. I'd push him down. I mean,
absolutely, but you are a nefarious individual, sports doctor. Waterford with possession. LJ Pezzolesi has the ball straight up the chute. He takes a run over onto the wing. It goes to Bauman. Bauman cuts middle, fires a shot wide. Had Bentley beat that time, did Bowdish rather. Bowdish had Bentley beat, but just wide with the shot.
Got his stick inside, got top side, basically they would say. Your stick's inside to about the 10-yard plane, and got a quality shot.
That's a good look.
A great look. You take it all day long.
Here's Lafort, tries to find a cutter, does, and the first Waterford goal of the game. Number 11, Kyle Cardoza. What a great play, saw it all the way. The heads-up play of Lafort to the cutting Cardoza. Beautifully done, like a one-timer goal for the Lancers, and we're tied up at 1.
Little give-and-go action that time, Coach, and a nice job by Lafort hitting the cutter. And again, a point-blank look, and very hard for the goalie to gather himself when the ball's moving that fast.
He doesn't know where the ball's going to get received. He's trying to reset, and now he's got to guard both pipes, and it's pretty hard.
Now, how big is that goal for Waterford? I mean, again, we talked about keeping this thing close. I mean, that's got to be a big goal for them to kind of even things up with East Lyme here in the early going.
I would think at some level there's some confidence there, and it says you can stay with these guys for the next 40 minutes.
I think, quite frankly, at this point, Waterford's had a number of very good looks. They have to probably feel pretty good about some of the opportunities they've had. About a minute and change remaining here in the first period. All tied up at 1 at Alumni Field at Waterford High School. East Lyme, Waterford, boys lacrosse, all tied at 1. You're listening to Game Day, live on theday.com. East Lyme sets up its next possession behind the goal in the X, Sean Williams.
And he's being guarded by a short stick, which would be called the little matchup, and probably a matchup Waterford might want to get out of behind the cage. Forces a lot of action if Williams is going to get loose all day back there.
East Lyme turning up the pressure a little bit with a minute remaining, now 40 seconds remaining here in the period. They want the ball in McCoy's on his stick. He has it now. McCoy looking for room, guarded by Wade. Inside, nice shot that time by Bauman, but it bounces wide. Mima in very good position.
Boy, McCoy is a facilitator with that ball. He attracts a host of defenders. He's not afraid to give it up. He's a force out there.
Pass inside, shot, and a beautiful save by Mima wide. He stoned Bauman.
Good save that time, Coach. Point blank shot.
Yeah, Mima looks confident between the pipes. He's getting some good help too. The shots are not unchecked.
And we're going to have a whistle hold against Waterford. Lyme retains possession.
Sports doctor out there holding, pushing players while they're down, searching for loose balls. Casey, that's my MO.
And a shot will get deflected and go out of bounds, but that's the end of the first period. And a very exciting and evenly matched first period sees the score Waterford 1, East Lyme 1. You're listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Sports doctor along with our very special guest, Coach Ray LaFleur. And so, your thoughts on the first period? What did you see out there?
Well, the number one thing I saw was good lacrosse. Kids are getting up and down. A lot of passes being made. A lot of kids looking to make a pass and make a feed. Both goalies look solid. So this is probably going to go down to the wire. Looks like up and down. The kids are playing hard.
Yeah, I was impressed with the goaltender play in both directions. I thought Bentley was rock solid early for East Lyme. Not just making some early saves, but really good position, forcing some shots wide. But on the other side of things, Orthias Mima was rock solid as East Lyme scored early, and then he stoned 2 or 3, I think we would call high percentage shots. If you're offensive East Lyme, those are the shots you're looking for, and Mima was rock solid.
And, for him, it probably has to come down to really settling in and feeling confident for the rest of the night. He's got 3 nice defensemen in front of him who've played a lot of lacrosse. So he's got a good base of fellas around him that can support him.
Coach, just the type of game you would expect to see tonight. 1-1, tight matchup. Like I said, 2 undefeated teams in league play. Rivalry game. You wouldn't expect anything like that to get out of control on either end for either team.
A year ago they battled pretty hard to a 1-goal loss in the ECC final, and I think for all these kids, the towns are so close, they've marked this one on their calendar.
Right.
This is something they're talking about. They're excited. And I think you're just going to get a real high effort from all the guys. And if the game gets loose at any point in time, well, that happens in a lot of sports. Things get out of whack. But right now, you're seeing it pretty tight.
They downplayed it a little bit last night at practice, Casey. The East Lyme kids, it's just another game. It's a league game. But, we've heard that all year long in high school sports, my friend.
Well, when you're the team, when you're at the top of the mountain, that's the attitude you have to have, that it's just another game. I mean, you're not the one at the top of the mountain for no reason. So until that, you got to beat the man to be the man kind of a thing. So East Lyme that's the attitude. For Waterford, I think they probably recognize that for their program it is a big game. They, as you said, Coach, they were within a goal last year. Now they're looking to take the next step and defeat a team like East Lyme, and that would be a big win for them. Here we go, the start of the second period. Waterford now going right to left. Pezzalucci has the early possession, and now behind to Lafort in the X.
I didn't see what the penalty was. It must have happened late in the quarter, but Waterford starts this off with a 6v5 advantage, and there's a rip.
A ripped goal by Logan Bowdish from the wing. You called him a sniper, and there it is. He just unloaded and beat Bentley to the short side, and 2-1 Lancers.
Bowdish had a clean look that time, Casey, and like he said, he stepped in and let it rip, and now the Lancers lead 2-1, and they take advantage of the penalty to start the second period.
Well, between periods, the referees are going to grab a stick from each side, and apparently they found that one of the East Lyme kids who they did a stick check on had an illegal stick, a pocket that was too deep.
Wow.
So he gets slapped with the 1 minuter.
That is checked. They check that kind of stuff.
And technically, once the first illegal stick shows up, the coach can then ask for the next stick check.
Face off right at midfield. Nice job by Wade. Now the ball is loose, and the Vikings trying to scoop it, and Waterford gets possession. Lafort looking to press the action. Heads behind into the X, straight behind the goaltender.
So the illegal stick causes a locked-in 1 minute penalty. So the first goal by Bowdish doesn't negate the penalty. Waterford's still man up right now.
That's a big swing.
Up top, Pezzolesi. Bowdish rips another shot, and goal! Logan Bowdish with another missile. Beats Bentley, and the Lancers have a 3-1 lead.
And again, the penalty proving big dividends here for the Lancers. Bowdish from the exact same spot, Casey. Saw a lane and let it rip. 3-1 Lancers.
So Waterford's converting big on this penalty because there's 8 seconds left in the penalty, and they're going to take the third face-off with a 3v2 advantage on the wings.
And so this is where Luther Wade, earns his bacon here, because another face-off win would be a huge opportunity for Waterford.
Face-offs are huge. Face-offs are in the other sports, it's football, you score a touchdown, you kick off. In lacrosse, it can be make it, take it, and that gets hard.
I like it. That's a really good analogy. Make it, take it. You have a good face-off person, and you can really do some damage. East Lyme in control. Long sticks got it. Going down the right sideline is Norwegian. Big Andrew Norwegian. And an interception by Wade, and Waterford will head upfield. 3-1 Lancers. 10:45 remaining here in period number 2. Now a steal by the Vikings. Belandis inside, and a goal. Sean Williams. Nice look that time, and an open net for virtually as Mima was a little bit out of position. 3-2, and just like that, East Lyme answers.
Yeah, a little give and go between Belandis and Williams, and like you said, Casey, stepped right in front of the goal, had a point-blank shot, coach, and pay dirt, if you can call it that, for the lacrosse goal.
Unsettled. You got a turnover.
Yep.
You got a quick unsettled situation, turned into an odd man break, turned into a 3v2 to a 2v1 to a 1v none. And in the world of lacrosse, as a defensive guy, you don't want those situations very much.
Back to the face-off now goes Wade and Boguszewski. Scooped up by Peich of the Vikings, and the Vikings will attempt to even it up. They trail 3-2 here in the second period. Shields behind the Waterford goal, out to McCoy on the wing. And back up top, the Vikings will settle. Boguszewski makes a run, looks inside, finds a cutting Durham for the Vikings goal, and just like that, we are tied at 3. John Durham, nice cut and a feed and the goal, and so quickly the Vikings have evened things up.
Number 22 Durham scored with number 22 Luke Bars on his backside. 22-22. 3-3 ball game right now, Casey. Back-to-back goals here by the Vikings in quick fashion, I might add.
10:04 remaining here in the second period. We are all tied at 3 at Alumni Field at Waterford High School. You are listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the sports Dr. Keith O'Brien and our special guest, Coast Guard Academy lacrosse coach Ray Lafort. And just like that, Coach, 2 very quick Vikings goals.
I'll tell you, the last one was a nice goal. The kid, the East Lyme attacker, drove down the right alley and made a feed into a really tight space. It was a pretty impressive play. The throw, catch, and to get the shot off in the space. Nice lacrosse.
Williams fires and scores for the Vikings. Sean Williams. And right now, Orthias Mima's got to be shell-shocked down there. And the nice job of the Waterford defenders going up to him and reassuring him. Right now, the entire Waterford backfield has to examine what's going on, because those last few shots by East Lyme have been way too easy.
Yeah, momentum being a fickle thing in high school sports. 2 quick goals for the East Lyme Vikings to open the second period, and then 3 straight here by the Vikings. I'm sorry, 2 quick goals by the Lancers, and 3 straight by the Vikings.
4-3 East Lyme. 9:49 remaining here in period number 2. Whistle on the face-off. Waterford will have the possession.
So you had a face-off violation on East Lyme. That's the first of the half. So it automatically draws the ball to a possession for Waterford.
You have 2 officials out there handling all this action in this huge field.
And the college game has 3.
Yeah.
Bowdish in control for Waterford. He's being checked by Peich. Bowdish swings it back to Bowdish. Up on top it goes to Mobley. Mobley swings it around to Potter. Potter being hounded by a Viking defender, and now Lafort will carry for Waterford. 4-3 East Lyme, 9:09 remaining here in the second period. Bowdish, he scored twice from out there. The East Lyme defender immediately checks out on him. That's Peich. Bowdish looking for room. Bowdish makes a run, fires a shot, and scores! Logan Bowdish on a low shot beats Mac Bentley at the ankles and ties the game at 4.
Throw your hats into the ring. It's the hat trick for Logan Bowdish. His 3rd goal of the ball game. The equalizer, 4-4. Coach, another good look. He likes that spot in the wing, and he can sling it.
Well, he likes the lefty sweep. You know, when he got to his comfy space and he just kept being stubborn and kept going across the whole thing, and East Lyme gave him the space, and Logan rips. And,
how do you push him out of that spot?
You would have to make a very concerted effort to take away that side of the field. And it's like the East Lyme kids gave him that little space, and Logan took it. And then the next thing you know, you're at 4s.
Yep.
Very obviously a very skilled offensive player is Logan Bowdish. Wade wins the faceoff, is shoved from behind, and even I can see that that one's no good.
Loose ball push. Goes back Waterford's way.
I mean, you can be an amateur and realize that one. That's like the defenseless man, you know, head down, just getting shoved from behind.
Yeah, that's a headache waiting to happen.
Yeah. And we know how tough a kid Luther Wade is. Football player, wrestler, and lacrosse player. He's no stranger to contact. Straight up the chute goes Cardoza now for Waterford. And he's going to bring it back up top. And Waterford's going to reset in this 4-4 ball game. 8:38 remaining here in period number 2.
Now it's a big goal by Waterford to settle things down a little bit.
So they're slowing it down right now.
Yeah, settle things down.
They're sitting back.
Bowdish, Lafort, Mobley, Pezzolesi swinging it around. Now back up top it goes to Cardoza.
So they're going to get a dodge now versus short stick. So they have a little bit of a depressed smash down attack.
And a nice job there by East Lyme, but Pezzolesi recovers, gets it to Cardoza. Cardoza looking for room, gets it inside. Shot blocked, Lafort point blank in front. Had an opportunity, but a great save that time as the ball rolls out of bounds and the Vikings catch a break.
Nice job by Big Mac. In goal that time for the Vikings. Like you said, Casey, point blank shot.
On the run, the Vikings. Crossing midfield is Belandis. And he loses the ball coming over midfield.
So they have a 4v3 break.
In front on a huge check in front by East Lyme. Puts the ball on the turf. What a hit that time by Norwegian.
Coach Landry crying for a penalty down there on the sidelines.
Alden right in front for East Lyme. Tries to make a pass across and a nice check in front on McCoy. And we're going to have a whistle in front.
You see the arms up in the air by Coach Chris Landry. I don't know if he's signaling, can I get a foul call, or is that field goal good? He is, look at him screaming down there. Fired up, Case.
So the Vikings will have the ball, 4-4 game, 7:14 remaining. Up top it goes to Alden.
Well, clearly the hit by Norwegian was old school lacrosse.
All right.
Yeah.
Alden looking to get a lane, can't get it, spins right, fancy move, and oh, he had a shot, but over the head of Mima it goes. And it will be Waterford ball. Great job, Mima, beating him to the spot.
Comes out of the crease, he's on a full sprint, gets rewarded for his efforts with the ball off the end line.
I like that. I recognized from the rules earlier, closest person there, Mima earned that one. Ball loose on the turf, turnover. Waterford coming the other way is Bauman for the Vikings. Bauman now heading into space, tries to cut to the middle, spins, and he's going to kick it back out and reset the offense for the Vikings. Up top, it'll go to McCoy. McCoy now resets at the point for the Vikings. Vikings being very deliberate here now. Bauman will take control.
It's a man-to-man defense that Waterford's in right now, Coach.
Yeah, and the turnover put them in a jam because right now they've got 3 short stick defenders on the field rather than 4. So East Lyme has a lot of good matchups right now.
Bauman tried to take a shot, but a nice job on defense for Waterford that time. Luke Bars with a stick check right at the point of shot, but the Vikings will retain possession. And the attacker, Sean Williams, with the ball. He's been very dangerous with the ball for the Vikings. Great job on the spin. Great job that time, Waterford on the check, but an unbelievable goal from Williams. Where did it come from? Certainly Mima didn't know. It found the net. 5-4 East Lyme. So dangerous is Sean Williams.
Sean Williams unassisted.
A lot of action in front of the goal there. Just a lot of bodies, Coach. It's easy to lose track of the ball.
Especially some of these kids are pretty slick with it.
Well, Spencer Hoagland, who's gotten the assignment on Williams, was hounding Williams, was with him step for step, and out of nowhere, Williams just got a shot off in the blink of an eye. I don't think anybody expected Williams to take that shot. It certainly was unsuspected by the entire Waterford defense.
Well, Williams did a nice job leaning in on Hoagland and then stepping back to create his own space to get his hands free to get off a rip.
Turnover will become Waterford possession. 5:35 remaining here in period number 2. 5-4 East Lyme in what has become a back-and-forth barn burner between these two teams. Very evenly matched, but right now the difference has been Sean Williams, who has basically outpointed Logan Bowdish.
Well, you had a 1-1 first period, Casey. Now you've seen 7 goals in the first almost 5 minutes of the second period, so things have opened up quite a bit out there in the field.
Mima making a run from the goal position. Coach, talk a little bit about what's the advantage there for Mima, the goalie, to make that run.
Well, East Lyme, in basketball it's the full course press. In lacrosse it's called the ride. In hockey it's the forecheck. So East Lyme there chose to mark each of the outlets for Mima, so Mima has no one to throw to. You got to remember, in lacrosse, on the defensive half on the field you can have 7. On your offensive half you can have 6. So in that space, all Mima's players, all of his outlets, his 6, are guarded by the East Lyme 6. He's clean, so he went to carry, and once you carry over now, you've got the ball on that big stick, and it's hard to control. You're going to get checked, so Coach Landry takes a timeout the minute he steps over the midline.
Timeout situation, he's talking strategy right now. He's setting his lineup up. Is he giving a pep talk, or is it mostly strategical lacrosse right now?
Well, that timeout there was deliberately taken to maintain possession.
Okay.
Because he felt like probably that his goalie was getting ready to get checked and lose the ball.
Okay.
So he uses one of his timeouts for the half there and keep a possession. Settle the ball down, get your best 6 kids on the field right now. But also, on the other hand, sometimes you don't like taking those timeouts because you just let East Lyme reset with their top 6 defenders.
The chess match, the head coaching chess match, Casey O'Neill.
5:23 remaining here, period number 2. 5-4 East Lyme in what has been a very exciting game so far. A lot of action here in the second period. Waterford will have the ball going right to left. LJ Pezzalesi will start the offense off for Waterford, and off he goes, crossing midfield, straight up the field. Swings it out to Cardoza. Cardoza to Mobley, and he'll try to get the ball back to Cardoza. Up top, Pezzalesi. Waterford will reset with a mismatch, sending Pezzalesi straight up the chute. Now he breaks right, looking for Bowdish. Bowdish gets a step, nicely checked and pushed out by East Lyme. Bowdish tries to find a cutting Mobley, and Mobley fixes it, and a point-blank save by Bentley of East Lyme, and the Vikings dodge a bullet right there. A point-blank shot from Mobley, but a rock-solid effort by Bentley.
And a nice job that time, Coach, by East Lyme of, bringing Bowdish out of his spot, his comfort zone a little bit, getting him on the move and not letting him, get that shot underway.
The defender did a nice job hedging upfield and trying to cut him off.
Yeah.
Dalton Franco loses the ball, and a penalty flag comes down as Waterford's barking that time. Dalton Franco was carrying over midfield for East Lyme, and the flag came down when Waterford took possession.
Another old-school lacrosse hit that time, as Coach would put it.
Well, the rules have gotten tighter. As people start talking about concussions more.
Sure.
Everything is below the shoulders. And back in the day when they were playing with a wooden stick, man, they would say they're bringing the lumber.
Yeah, you know what's funny in basketball, when a player commits a foul, he puts his hands up in the air and says, it wasn't me. And Casey, we've seen it all year long. I just saw Chris Landry do that with one of his players. Oh, what do you mean? It wasn't us. It wasn't us.
They called Bray Griffith-Potter on the hit, and East Lyme now will have their advantage, and they're going to start with Bauman. And Bauman will start off this offensive possession for the Vikings. 4:33 remaining. Bauman swings it across to Boguszewski. They're going to look for Williams. There he is. Williams has it. Williams up top. McCoy rifles a shot. There it is, the 90-mile-an-hour heater from James McCoy, and East Lyme jumps out to a 6-4 lead.
How do you stop that if you're in goal? When he just lets loose and, he's got basically a point-blank look that time. McCoy, there he is, the big sophomore, 6'3", 230 pounds.
Well, I asked East Lyme goalie Mac Bentley, I said, what's your strategy against McCoy's fastball? And he says, I pray. So I think I think there's something to be said about you getting good position and you hope he hits you. I took one of those McCoy fastballs off the chest yesterday and one off the net. He almost knocked the stick out of my hand. I mean, those kids can really amp it up. 6-4 East Lyme, 4:13 remaining. Waterford possession. Lafort carries for the Lancers. Being hounded by Catanzaro. Ball goes loose on the turf, and Catanzaro tries to save it but cannot. It'll be Waterford ball, and Lafort will inbound for Waterford. Up top he goes to Bowdish. Under 4 minutes now. Bowdish looking for some room, launches a shot, and a nice low save by Bentley of the Vikings. Out it goes. Ball on the turf. Ball loose. Scooped up by Waterford. Huda to Bowdish.
Huda's around a lot of ground balls. Does a nice job with that stuff.
Like that scrappy loose ball player in basketball, always gets those 50-50 balls.
He's a hockey kid. He's used to scrapping in the boards, kicking it, whatever it takes.
Mobley gets a shot off, kick save Bentley, but it goes into the hands of Lafort. Lafort, one hand on the stick, trying to shake Catanzaro. Passes up top to Bowdish. 3 minutes remaining. 6-4 Vikings here in period number 2. Bowdish one-on-one with Norwegian. Norwegian, he of the big hit, and he kicks it up top to Mobley.
So Bowdish is now getting marked by a long stick. He's no longer seeing the short stick matchup that he had seen a little earlier.
Bowdish makes a run, fires a shot wide of the goal that time, and clearly hounded by the long stick of Norwegian and the size of Norwegian. He's a big kid on top of it.
That's the adjustment made by East Lyme, Coach, correct?
For sure. For sure. They decided at a timeout that we're not going to give them a matchup like that anymore. So then they're going to have to find a different way to make the space work.
Belandis and another broken stick.
Belandis broke that one off with his upper body, I think.
East Lyme on the possession. Hustling back into the play is Connor Douglas. He of the broken stick, and the officials are clearing the broken stick off of the turf as we speak, as we head down to 2 minutes. Alden with the ball for the Vikings. Now he'll swing it to Belandis. East Lyme swinging it behind to Williams. There's their dangerous offensive player, Sean Williams. Making a run. Schaffner. Up top it goes to Alden. Alden making a run. Slips a defender, spins, tries to go to his right, and he's drilled and crushed by Mobley. What a hit by Mobley. Mason Mobley with an old school lacrosse hit.
The refs are letting them play, guys.
You don't typically see this type of physicality on a high school level, Coach?
I haven't seen many games this rough and tumble at the high school level yet this year. These kids are really getting after it, and the refs are letting it go.
A timeout by East Lyme on the field, Casey, with 1:15 left to go here in the first half.
You were talking to me earlier about how these are college officials officiating this game because, in part, there's a dearth of officials with the booming success of lacrosse. So these college officials coming down to a high school game, that's got to be a challenge as an official I know in basketball, you often see the physicality of the college game, and then you see officials come down and maybe blow the whistle more than they'd like to. It seems like these guys are letting it go college style right now.
I think they are, and I think that they're also at a slight disadvantage because at the college game they're reffing with 3 guys and they have a triangle around the ball, and now there's things that are in their rearview mirror that they just can't see.
You can't be an overweight, chunky lacrosse referee. I can tell you that.
No.
These guys have to be in tremendous shape. I mean, there's just 2 of them covering this entire field. They got to work out down there.
They would probably be frequent customers at the New Balance outlet down there, down 95. You got to get moving.
1:15 remaining here in period number 2. 6-4 East Lyme over the home Lancers of Waterford. Both teams really want a goal right now. East Lyme desperately would like to make a 3-goal lead, and Waterford obviously wants to get this thing to within 1 goal.
2 goals in the first period combined, 8 goals here in the second period thus far. High scoring, Coach, for this period.
More loose balls.
Right.
More odd man breaks, and the thing got moving fast for a little while.
Yeah.
Williams with the ball for the Vikings, up to Bogashevsky, and they will rerun the offense. Shields, and they'll swing it around, do the Vikings.
So Waterford's back in the lock-off, face-guarding Williams right now with Kevin Close. So they're basically playing almost, I don't know, a box in 1, but maybe a quad in 1.
And McCoy's going to attract a lot of attention over there, Casey.
McCoy, up top it goes, looking for a shot as Bogashevsky. Bogashevsky spins right, makes a move, but nice job, Lancers settling back into the defense. 41 seconds here.
So McCoy's being marked now by Bars, who's a pretty good defender in his own right.
Across the middle, shot wide by Bogashevsky. Good look that time. But yeah, the strategy of lacrosse, a different matchup now. They're taking Williams away and putting a good defender on McCoy to try to take away the best options for the Vikings.
Well, you know, the strategy to get that face guard sort of negated is to shoot the ball off the end line and let the kid who's getting face guarded pick it up. So that's the way to sort of force it, force the issue to get your best player with the ball on his stick. So East Lyme just did that. They intentionally shot the ball high off the end line, and they took the ball off the end line with Williams.
McCoy with the ball in the X, heads right, McCoy spins, shoots wide and out of bounds. It goes with 7 seconds remaining in period number 2.
So again, Williams goes over here and picks up the ball. So nice adjustment here by East Lyme.
Williams on a run, 5 seconds remaining. Time for maybe one more shot. Williams passes and just high, overshooting the cutting Schaffner, and that will end period number 2. Take us to the half, and at halftime, your score, the visiting East Lyme Vikings 6, the Waterford Lancers 4. You're listening to Game Day live on theday.com. Sports Doctor, what'd you think of your first half of lacrosse?
Hey, not bad. I actually enjoyed the game quite a bit. There's a lot of end-to-end action and a lot of physicality. And, you know, Coach, you and I talked to before, you know, some of the plays and some of the picks and rolls and offense and defense, you know, a lot of strategy. And the big thing, too, I noticed is you got to be patient a little bit on offense. You know, you got to take what they give you and certainly take advantage of the turnovers as well.
Well, you know, team defense, 6 guys knowing how to play. They're hard to get a step on, and it takes the kids to move the ball around quite a bit to sort of get a step and sort of get the shot you need. So you're going to have to be patient in order to sort of work the defense and sort of expand and contract them a little bit.
It is the halftime house call here at the Alumni Field of Waterford High School with the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien. I am joined by Coast Guard Academy men's lacrosse coach Ray Lafort. And stepping into the booth is Conn College AD Fran Shields. Can I call you coach or just call you
Fran?
Fran?
Call me coach. I love it because I was the men's lacrosse coach at Conn for 23 years before I got demoted to athletic director. So
34 years involved in Conn College athletics, the AD since 2003. You know, what a trip it's been over there on over downtown London.
Definitely. I mean, the New England Small College Athletic Conference, NESCAC, our group, you know, Amherst, Middlebury, Williams, Trinity. I mean, just great schools and great competition. You know?
Well, let's start here. Let's start first of all with youth lacrosse, you know, in East Lyme, something you started many years ago, and you know, something you've been giving to and giving back to the community as well. You know, from back when you started it to now, the growth of the sport on a youth level, high school level, and on a college level, which both you guys deal with.
Right. Obviously, when you're talking about a youth sport around this area, you're talking about a team effort. So many people involved. I think of Bruce Cohen, Tim Swenson, Jerry Barner, Darren Eller, Judd Andres, all these guys in East Lyme that really, they're still involved in the youth program, even though their kids are not in it anymore.
Right.
And so really it was volunteer parents, but it was people that had lacrosse knowledge, that had played, and I think the East Lyme program, of course, the youth program is still really strong, and the high school program is really strong. So you can see that the two are connected for sure.
Coach, Ray, the youth program, you see them big in football, you see them big in baseball. How important is it on a high school level to have the youth program and the feeder system succeeding?
Oh, it's monstrous.
Right.
Every quality high school program behind there's a line of kids, 5, 6, 7 grades deep that have a stick, that know how to throw and catch, that have the IQ to cut behind a kid and play together, and then you just get kids in your neighborhood having a catch. It's just it's a culture.
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's a great game. I definitely think you look at the growth of the women's game as well. Phil Schneider,
huge on the huge, and especially with high school girls.
Oh yeah, Phil Schneider over in East Lyme. He's huge into U.S. lacrosse, and he's doing a great job. I got one of my former players, Dave Howes, who's the principal over at Isaac School, and he was Fitch's coach, and he won the first 3 ECC championships, and now he's helping Chelsea Phillips, a St. Bernard grad, get the New London program going. Now they're still a ways away, but the fact that New London wants to try this as well, I think is great for the region.
Yeah, it's great. It's certainly great for the ECC and the league too. I love the ECC. I love ECC sports. It's one of the best kept secrets in the state. So more growth, more power. Fran, let's stick around with Conn College a little bit. What's going on over there now as far as athletics go? You guys you're into your spring seasons. baseball, lacrosse. All these things are happening over there.
Right. No, we've had a great year. I think we our women's soccer team, coached by an East Lymer, Norm Riker. Whose girls run track for East Lyme, but Norm has done a great job for us. His women's soccer team has made the NCAA tournament in 2 of the last 3 years and won the first NESCAC championship by any Conn team ever since they started in the year 2000, back in 2014. So our soccer programs are really strong. Kenny Murphy, he's a Staples guy and a UConn Joe Maroney guy.
Right.
Played in the NASL. Our men's soccer. Our
Joe Maroney won a national championship at UConn.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Kenny was around that time. I don't think Kenny was on the national championship team, but he was before it. But he played with Detroit in the NASL, and he played against Pele. He's
yeah, that's pretty good, Ray.
Pele.
Pele. You heard of him?
Came from Brown University. But no, our soccer teams do really well in the fall. Our women's swim team this year finished number 10 in the country. Now
that's amazing.
There's 400 swimming schools. We had 16 All-Americans. So exciting like that. And then we got our niche sports like our sailing team,
right?
Water polo. Those kinds
of
things.
So
it's amazing. But again,
how do you keep track of it all?
Well, there's 28 sports that we have. So
all right. You've got a lot of help. That's what you're trying to say. You got some good assistants.
I've got an abacus. Yeah. No, but
or he tells his wife he's not coming home. There's a lot to do.
You got a cot.
Exactly.
Coach, you know about that. You got a cot in your office. You got to watch some film.
But also to be involved in college sports in this area and have a partner like Coast Guard. We share some facilities. We have good rivalries, and we're going to play the first men's lacrosse game next year, Coast Guard Conn College. So
you ready for that, Coach?
Kicking off the series.
You're ready for that?
Yeah, we got a good team now, and and Conn's fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually just the other day I have about 7 breakdowns left on my crossover account. I just broke down Conn about 6 of them. Just using everything I got.
They're loading for bear.
Yeah, the one thing that people don't realize, and I got into it a little bit this year, is I spent some time around Coast Guard football and around the basketball, and I saw Conn's team play too. Let me tell you something. Division III college athletics. Some of these kids have no idea how competitive and how good these. I saw Babson come into the Coast Guard Academy, won number 1 team in the country,
and they won the national
championship. So it's huge.
No, our team this year beat Amherst.
Yeah, right.
They were number 5 in the country. You know, and we got a point guard, Tyler Rowe, who came out of Windsor.
Oh, very good player. Yes, very good player.
Right? Yeah. And you know, David Labossiere.
Labossiere, yeah.
Oh man,
Tremendous.
the guy is above the rim. You know, we had good senior leadership this year. That's why we were able to do what we did, and we still didn't make our conference tournament. I mean, NESCAC basketball is incredibly competitive.
You know, and I think one of the other thing people maybe they don't really grab onto is through the Coast Guard Academy gym this year, just the Coast Guard gym. We had Conn College in there. That's a great, vibrant game. We had Babson at home. They're the national champion with the National College Division III Player of the Year. And then Springfield College rolls through. They've got the National Rookie of the Year on their team, and it's just high-end stuff.
MIT is tremendous.
Loaded.
Yeah, tremendous. Yeah. So, I mean, Fran, just great job, great stuff going on over there. And I mean, obviously, you're a big proponent of lacrosse. You know, and you know, what's it going to take for some of these kids from the ECC to play lacrosse or play college sports at Conn or even at Coast Guard?
Well, the platform is there for them now.
Sure.
Because when I was coaching, the what I'll call AAU, you know, has now developed into the club, right?
Right.
So kids are getting chances to play and be coached all year round. That wasn't happening 20 years ago. You know, and so now I think if a kid really wants to play at this level, number one, you got to be an athlete.
Sure, yeah.
Coach LaFord will tell you that. Like, you know, I mean, that's how you built your program, is some good athletes with some lacrosse skill. But, like, you can't come in and just be a lacrosse player.
Right.
You have to be committed to being in shape and, you know, and working out and, you know, going to a Tim Uhas or, you know, some place like that, you know. You know, and then you got to get with a club and you got to play year round.
On this
too bad.
Field tonight, there's 10 kids that I coached last summer in summer lacrosse.
Right. That's great.
Our two sons are out there.
Yeah. No, I know that.
Right?
We're calling the game. I know that.
Ned scored the first goal. So we were excited.
Out of all the sports
a nice
you
back
coached,
cut.
It's got about
Out of all the sports you coached at Conn, cross country, track, lacrosse, all this stuff, what was your favorite?
Well, I mean, lacrosse.
Being on the sidelines.
That's
your bread and butter.
That's my sport. Yeah, I played in college, and you know, in fact, this weekend, the leading scorer at St. Lawrence, who's number 5 in the country, just tied my all-time assist record 38 years later. So, you know.
Conn College AD Fran Shields. Fran, I appreciate a few minutes this morning or this afternoon. Keep up the good work over there at Conn College.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. We're about 30 seconds here to go before to start the second half. Ray LaFord is with me here, and Ray, you know, you've got some good things going on next year at Coast Guard for football as well. Offensive coordinator. You guys are going to be pretty good.
We have a nice crew of kids coming back.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have a first-year starting quarterback. We replaced Derek Victory, who can just chuck it around the yard like nobody else ever could at Coast Guard.
Well, you're calling the plays, so I mean it's easy to do. Right?
Well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Bill George is one of my dear friends on earth.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Tremendous, Casey, isn't he?
That's the best quarterback name I've ever said out of my mouth.
Derek Victory.
I mean, you can't do better than that. Unless you come in and draft, you know, recruit Brady Winner. I don't know how you can, you know, I don't know how you can beat having a kid named Victory as your quarterback.
You can't.
It fits everything. And having spoken to him, what a rock solid kid that he is. As I would expect a Coast Guard kid to be, but.
He was a treat. He was a treat to work with for 4 years.
What a nice
kid. Total pleasure.
Yeah. Yep. I've made all of the victory puns that I could that night. So here we go, start of the second half. East Lyme with a 6-4 lead, going right to left in the third period and with the ball as they won the faceoff and will start off on the attack. Vikings swinging it around. Let's see if they come out aggressive or if they're going to be a little bit more deliberate with the 2-goal lead. Last time the Vikings got the lead, Waterford answered very quickly.
So here's an adjustment. Waterford is shutting off Williams with the short stick, and now Williams is coming up top above goal line extended to about the 15-yard line and starting to set picks.
Whipped shot by Bauman and a great save by Mima. A quick outlet, and Waterford looking to run, something we didn't see a lot of in the first half, trying to push the ball a little bit, but now a spin by Erickson. And Erickson trying to cross midfield and does. The long stick, Erickson puts it on the turf, and Wade scoops, and now Luther Wade spins, heads up the middle of the field. Break for Waterford. Behind the goal it goes, and now looking to set the play up for Waterford. Potter, and they get it out to Lafort, and Waterford will get its people into position. And a whistle.
Boy, Waterford, like you said, Casey, looking to push to come out here to start the second half.
There was an errant ball on the field from the halftime.
So Waterford with the ball. Get it in the hands of Lafort. Look for Lafort to go behind the goal, which he does. Bowdish is on the field as well. That's who the Waterford Lancers want the ball. They want it in the hands of Bowdish. Huda, Pezzolesi, and now Bowdish with the ball up top. He's guarded by the long stick of Schaffner, and he'll swing. Cardoza now heading straight up the middle for the Lancers. Cardoza makes a move to his right, tries to find a cutter in front. Nice look in front and a check and no goal. Great defense by the Vikings.
A lot of action in front of the net. I don't know how Big Mac made that save.
Potter was right in front and a great check that time. Potter was never ever get the shot actually off. A lot of hitting going on right now here in the early going. The officials allowing these kids to be physical. Nice pass up ahead. It goes Lafort. Lafort looking to head to his comfort position. Spins left. Looking for a cutter. Nobody there. Sends it back out to Bowdish. And Waterford will reset.
What do you think of number 5, Coach? Good player?
He works at it.
Yeah, he does. You can tell.
He's killed every blade of grass in our yard.
And now you got the younger one going out with him all the time, right?
Yeah, especially when I see him lace up the cleats in the backyard, I know I'm not going to cut a lot of grass this summer.
Bowdish on the run, fires a shot, bounces in front, no good, and out wide it goes. And Norwegian trying to track it down. He's battling with Mobley, and the whistle says East Lyme ball.
Now, Casey, you know from first-hand experience, those bounce shots are very tough to defend if you're a goalie.
Yeah, you're not only dealing with speed, but you're dealing with the natural reaction to the trajectory of the ball, and then the ball bounces up at you in a different direction. It's very challenging. It's like a catcher trying to judge a dirt ball. On the run, Vikings shot wide that time by Bauman on a nice run. Good opportunity by Matt Bauman, but Mima held his ground.
And every turf you go to, the bounce is going to be a little different. For every goalie, that's a concern for them.
The very dangerous Sean Williams for the Vikings. Kicks it all the way up top. It goes to Bojaszewski. Up top, resettled Bauman. Bauman on a run, looks for room, and out behind the net, scooped up by Schaffner. Vikings with a 6-4 lead, 8:32 remaining in the period. East Lyme's going to do a line change. Into the game comes Andrew Alden. Williams kicks the ball out to him as we're under 8:15 here remaining in the third period, 6-4 East Lyme.
I think Ryan Belandis comes back into the ballgame as well.
Up top, Alden. They like him to run the offense here. Nice checking up front by Wade. Puts the ball on the turf, and Wade tries to scoop. Ball still loose. Who's going to get it? Who's going to come out of the pack? 50-50 ball won by the Vikings. And a long errant pass goes out of bounds, and Waterford will have the possession.
Nice on-ball defense by Luther Wade. Showing a little bit of his wrestling football nature.
And here comes Mima with a straight run up the field for Waterford. Williams trying to check him. Mima holding on to the ball, looking across midfield. The goalie making a run, still has possession. Mima now, finally ball on the turf. East Lyme with a great opportunity. Open run. Catanzaro crosses midfield ahead to Williams. Williams with a defender, no goalie. Cutter, loose ball, and Wade comes out of the pack. Big break for the Lancers. Bounce pass to Lafort. Lafort back checked by Galbo, and up ahead it goes for East Lyme. Schaffner trying to make a run. Mima back in goal for Waterford. And back up top, and East Lyme will reset.
Yeah, end-to-end action and no shots on goal and no scoring thus far here with 3 minutes into the third quarter.
Great job that time of the Waterford defense slipping back into goal to help out Mima, who had made the run and got checked, lost the ball. Spin, shot, and goal! James McCoy on the bounce. Beats Mima, and the Vikings have a 7-4 lead.
Well, there you go, Coach. McCoy showed you the fastball shot, and he showed you the footwork inside the scoring zone, a little turnaround, the touch. The big fella, number 17, he can handle the stick out there.
That last goal was with the left hand.
Left hand.
That was a left-handed shot for a kid who's generally right-handed heat. It's a nice job.
Yeah, good. He's a good ball player.
7-4 face-off, 6:39 remaining. East Lyme with a 3-goal lead. Face-off still on the turf, loose. Waterford trying to scoop, and they do, and they control. Joe Lillis heading straight up. Now Wade with the ball for the Lancers. Wade crosses behind the goal. LaForte looking to make some room. Checked hard there by Catanzaro. 7-4 Vikings, 60 minutes remaining. LaForte, good stick handling that time on a relentless check from Catanzaro. LaForte passes it up on top. It goes to Pezzalessi.
East Lyme sitting back in a little bit of his zone right now, Coach.
Oh, not now. They're just being a soft man with an early slide there. Being pretty aggressive, actually, in terms of baiting Waterford to make the dodge. And then just coming firing out of the crease on the first slide.
Sound defensive technique?
I would think so, yeah.
Cardoza looking to make a run for Waterford. Finds the middle, rips a shot. Loose, and a nice save by Bentley. Got a piece of it and found it at his feet. And a great steal on the other end. And side net, no goal. Mobley had an open net off the steal and couldn't finish.
So you got a loose ball push there on Potter into the crease. Waterford's going to retain possession.
That was, check that, you're right. That was Griffith Potter. That was Bray Potter who had the wide open net, side net, missed it on the short side. Big opportunity for the Lancers, goes by the boards. Potter rips a shot, blocked. Now they're going to get it in Bowdish's hands.
East Lyme defense doing a nice job of keeping things in front of them. A lot of action in front of the goal, but no goals scored yet here by Waterford on this.
And Norwegian with that long stick just doing a lot of checking on Bowdish. Cardoza with the ball for the for the Lancers. Now LaForte.
Is that his spot down there, Coach?
He likes to be below GLE. Likes to work. He likes to feed.
Oh, great
just
look.
like that.
Yep.
Just like that.
LaForte had a cutting Huda, but a deflection in the middle by East Lyme sends it out of bounds, and East Lyme will have the ball. That was a great look that time. Now a whistle and an overturn. It'll be it'll be Waterford ball.
Yeah, that was almost on cue. He likes to feed. He found a cutter going in, just a little off on the pass.
Now the whole Waterford team, the whole IQ of the game has really jumped up. There's all these kids are looking to dodge and make a feed, and that's really just been a real step up for Coach Landry. Right there.
And a shot and score. Logan Bowdish from the point rips one low behind the ankles of Bentley, and Lancers have cut the lead to 2. 7-5 East Lyme. 4:08 remaining in the third.
Yeah, dodge and feed, indeed. That's fourth goal tonight.
Pezzalessi, right-handed sweep.
Right.
East Lyme goes with a quick double. Leave Bowdish open by a little sliver. Pezzalessi rolls back, gets it to Bowdish, and now you got a kid wide open in front of the cage.
All right, he can
That's how
sling
it happened.
Yeah, he can sling it. He can score. His fourth goal of the ball game.
I don't question the strategy of either coach because I don't know enough to do that, but it would seem to me leaving Bowdish ever would be short-sighted. The kid's got all kinds of offensive talent, but they've done a nice job at holding him in check for long stretches of time.
Well, they started sliding early, so the ball's getting out of Bowdish's stick when he's dodging. But there you saw the ball was in a young kid's stick. Pezzalessi's a freshman. He dodges, they slide to him, and then Bowdish is clean.
Whistle, and East Lyme will have the ball. 3:48 remaining, 7-5 East Lyme here in period number 3. It looks like we have a timeout on the field. You're listening to Game Day live on theday.com. High school lacrosse live from Alumni Field on the campus of Waterford High School. 7-5 East Lyme with the lead over the home and currently undefeated Waterford High School Lancers, but certainly these two teams are evenly matched. This is definitely a game. Waterford is in no way above their head in this contest, and I think East Lyme has come out in the second half and realizes that they've got a game on their hands.
To this point, East Lyme has taken advantage of more of the odd man breaks.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
That's-
You just see the little things paying dividends right now.
It's just they're little right now, a little more on point in the unsettled stuff. On a couple of face-offs, Waterford's been above the ball. So even though the ball seems marked, they're a step or two behind the break. And in East Lyme's converted on one or two more of those right now. But that's really right now where the game lies.
It's probably the small little things that happen out there on the field that separate two teams that are closely matched. I mean, it's the loose balls, the face-offs, and like you said, a half a step ahead, and that gives you a 2-goal lead.
You go to an average baseball game in the ECC, and you ask somebody, how many of those kids out there are going to play college baseball at any level? And the answer's a handful. 5 or 6 kids on a baseball field would be a lot. You go to an ECC soccer game. You say, how many of these kids are going to play college soccer? You get about the same answer. How many of these kids, realistically, are going to play college lacrosse of some kind somewhere?
On this field right now between these two teams, I would say East Lyme's got about 5 or 6 kids.
Wow. Okay.
I see East Lyme kids on the roster of the NUMAC. I see East Lyme kids on the roster of Wheaton, on the roster at schools like Springfield. So those are good teams.
Yeah.
So they're putting out good lacrosse players.
Lafort, nice pass. He found a cutting Huda, but nothing there. Now Cardoza straight up the middle with a fake, trying to get a shot off. Cardoza checked nicely by the Vikings, and out it goes to Bowdish. Bowdish with some room, whips a shot low and a save. Nice job that time by Bentley, low.
A low sweep shot that time, Coach, again by Bowdish. That's his bread and butter.
He's changing planes, though. He's dropping his stick now a little lower. You're getting the ball on the ground a little more.
Kind of like throwing a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup, Casey.
Now Bowdish is only a junior, but a kid like that, is this a kid that can play college lacrosse?
I would think he could play college lacrosse for sure. I'm coaching it up every day, and I think a kid with his shooting skills, and he gets it done.
Oh, nice spin by Bowdish. Very fancy, but loses the ball, and a nice check by the Vikings. And the Vikings had it for a moment, and they lost it back to Cardoza. And a whistle on the field. It'll be a penalty against Waterford, and the Vikings will have possession.
That was a tough call right there.
Now sprinting ahead, Bauman of the Vikings, straight up the middle. Waterford a little slow to recover that time. East Lyme on the offense. It's been a while since the Vikings have been on offense. Waterford had possession there for quite a while. 2:19 remaining here in the period. 7-5 East Lyme. Williams, the dangerous point man for East Lyme, heads to the middle, fires a nice pass, and a beautiful goal by Bauman. Williams to Bauman, 2-on-1. Williams slid the goalie, Mima, out to the right on a fake, found the cutting Bauman, short side goal, beautifully done.
Yeah, perfect give and go between Williams and Bauman. Like you said, Casey, point-blank shot. Coach, that's tough to defend if you're the goalie.
Waterford's getting a little extended.
Okay.
So Williams gets a step, 18 yards away from the cage, and that's a big space for one defender to cover, and it does a really nice job. Gobbled up the grass. Makes a dump, you get one-on-one on the goalie. That's
tough.
For that goalie, that's a tough save.
That's it, yep.
Face off loose and scooped up by Wade of Waterford. Waterford trying to get back down 3 goals again, 8-5.
Bauman for East Lyme has been the kid that's been working all game long too, Casey.
Waterford resets up top.
So they have their second midfield group in now. So you have Mobley, Pezzalesi, and Kyle Jacobson.
And the loose ball goes out of bounds. East Lyme will have possession. 1:39 remaining here in the third. East Lyme, Catanzaro. Long cross court. That's a dangerous pass in every sport, going across the field that way. And out of bounds, Waterford will have the ball. Always dangerous, especially in your own end, to try to get across the field pass. It's hard to do in every sport. Bowdish, the dangerous offensive player for Waterford, kicks it back up top to Cardoza. Cardoza goes left and thinks better of it, and Waterford will reset.
Bowdish is marked again by Norwegian, the pole.
Long stick of Norwegian. on the dangerous Bowdish. Every time he's had a chance, he's ripped shots. He's been going low on Bentley with success. They're forcing him to go right, which is unusual. Usually we see strong side to the right, but they're forcing him to go right. They don't like that left-handed shot. Cardoza spins, looks for room in the middle, loose ball, scooped up, loose again, and Pezzalessi will control. Now Bowdish with the ball for Waterford. Great look inside, but it can't be handled. The Vikings pounce on it. Scrum, loose ball, whistle. Waterford ball. We're going to see a penalty against the Vikings. A lot of action there in front of the Vikings goal.
Well, you just got a loose ball push.
Loose ball push.
No penalty.
Yep.
Just gives Waterford back the possession.
Yep. Hand signal, loose ball push.
Lafort behind being hounded by Catanzaro. Catanzaro very aggressive with his stick. Pass inside, loose on the turf. East Lyme recovers using the goalie Bentley, and they'll break out now. Ball on the turf, loose, scooped up by Waterford. Out of it comes Huda. You said, Coach, he is on all of those loose balls. Now the Vikings recover on a loose ball, and they're looking to break out. And that's the end of period number 3. And an exciting period with not a lot of goal scoring. 8-5 East Lyme at the end of 3 periods.
Well, there you go, Coach. You talked about the little things that happened in that period, and it seems like right now the little things have got East Lyme this 3-goal lead on the road.
Well, right now Waterford's having a hard time getting a step on East Lyme and settled 6v6 lacrosse. Coach Landry's got a chance right now to put a new plan out there. East Lyme's defense's aggression's up. They're extending a little more. Tough group of kids on the ball.
I'm sorry, Casey. What's the game plan now here if you're East Lyme going into the 4th quarter with a 3-goal lead? Do you stay aggressive or do you rock back on your heels a little bit and try and chew up the clock?
If I'm East Lyme right now, on my next offensive possession, I'm going to take this thing. I'm going to burn about 3 minutes.
Oh, you're going to burn some clock. You're trying to shorten this game.
I'm just going to have a catch.
Right.
They're not going to call you for a stall early in that possession. The referees will then use their judgment and call you for a stall. You'll have to keep it inside the offensive restraining box. That's still 3 minutes later.
You still want to force Waterford out and then have them make the mistake when the defense extends.
Yeah.
Okay.
But right now, does East Lyme really have to shoot quick? They don't have to shoot quick. High school lacrosse is not a very long game, 12-minute quarters.
And basketball, running down the shot clock, but still looking to get a good opportunity. Coach, I'm looking at Waterford, and I see Bowdish is their leading scorer, which makes sense. We've seen him tonight putting that shot-making ability on display. And we see Lafort with a pretty even distribution, goals and assists, which also makes sense. We've seen him behind the goal in the X, making a lot of really good passes to cutters. And it makes sense for Pezzalessi, who's another one of their leading scorers. But their second leading scorer is Bray Griffith-Potter, and it's been very quiet tonight. What have you seen about how East Lyme has approached Potter to sort of, he's been a very quiet presence in this game so far.
Well, his game's not as much dodging as it is finishing. And he likes that left wing, that little front porch for the right-handed shooter. And he just hasn't had a lot of good looks tonight at this point.
Loose ball on the field. Waterford looking to come out with it. Still loose. Kicked, punched, scratched. They're doing everything down there right now, pinning the ball to the ground. Finally, we're going to get a whistle, and the officials say timeout, East Lyme.
Good call by the East Lyme coach. They picked up a crucial start of 4th quarter ground ball. The minute the kid picked it up, coach clicked off one of his timeouts, and now he's got possession. He can reset. The defense on the in whistle is going to have to give 5 yards of space. Pretty good call right there.
Yeah, certainly. You said they wanted to get possession, burn off some clock. When the ball is loose like that on the field, certainly things can get sort of unbalanced, and he's going to settle things down and make sure that he has an opportunity to control tempo. Shorten the game significantly if they can burn off a little bit of time here with an offensive possession.
This next possession is crucial to the tempo of the game going down through the last 10 minutes. A 3-goal lead 10 minutes to go is a lot different than a 1-goal lead, and so if East Lyme can control the ball here, they sort of dictate a lot of things that's going to happen in front of us.
What's the battle cry on the other side, Coach? What's the battle cry on the Lancer end?
They got to play tough on ball D and not get beat. If they don't get beat, they don't have to slide, and they can play good defense in front of their Dodger. If they get beat on ball, it turns into a 6v5, and they don't want to be on the backside of that.
Men's lacrosse coach for the Coast Guard Academy Bears, Ray LaForte. Casey, he is here for a reason, my friend.
We'd be lost without him. East Lyme put the ball right in the hands of their best offensive player, stick handler Sean Williams. He gives it up to Matt Bauman, and now, like you said, Coach, they're going to try to eat some clock here and see if they can make, as you described it, have a catch.
So out of the timeout, Waterford marked Williams with Luke Bars, 22, a long stick, and now they just made that switch back to Kevin Close, the short stick.
Here's McCoy with a shot, and he rips one high. So certainly McCoy's not going to be shy about letting him rip if they give him that kind of room. He just airmailed that one over the top.
He's got a green light once he crosses half court, as you would call it, or once he goes into the box.
He's like this. He's like Steph Curry with a shot clock. Shot clocks don't apply with Steph Curry. And certainly they weren't gonna eat up any more clock when McCoy had an open look like that.
But that's not what East Lyme wanted because the shot wasn't backed up, and now they've given up a possession.
But a turnover on the field, and a nice recovery that time by Hoagland up ahead to Bars. Still loose, big check on the field. Nice hit, middle of the field. They are playing it rough out there right now.
Another big hit on the outside by East Lyme. Lunch pail type of possession that time for the Vikings.
That was a big scrum, and the possession goes Waterford's way. So they've got a little bit of life here on this time.
Not a life from Luke Bars. Up in
There
front, and a goal! Goal by the man I was asking you about, Bray Griffith-Potter. Got to the middle of the field, got possession, and went short. Little bounce shot in for the goal to cut the lead to 2.
And just what the doctor ordered for the Lancers that time.
Off the dead ball whistle, the Waterford player Cardoza picked it up. East Lyme didn't have all their people marked up, and Bray's alone, and Cardoza threw a 40-yard pass down the field, and bang.
Little things, Tater.
And you said he's a finisher.
Well, he finished. He does a great job.
Got some life back in the bleachers here at Alumni Field.
8-6. East Lyme still on top. 10:31 remaining here in the ball game. And Wade wins the face-off for Waterford, but ball gets loose early. Now it's on the field. Scooped up by Waterford. Bars, and he loses it. Man, these guys are hitting hard. Bars tries to come out with it. Ball's loose, no whistle. Bars was trying to show the official that the ball was out, but no whistle.
Coach Gary Wright right down there. Johnny on the spot. Pointing it should be our ball. Coaches tend to do that, don't they, Ray?
No, coaches never upset with officials.
Never. No, they don't lobby for calls.
No.
Coaches always tell the officials, "Thank you, sir. You're doing a fabulous job, and I in no way want to besmirch your personality or any of your character."
Sure, yeah.
That's what I hear you coaches saying all the time anyway. Timeout on the field. Waterford wants to get things together. 10:14 remaining, 8-6 East Lyme. I've said it earlier, we were talking earlier, I really am marveling at the quality of the officiating considering it's 2 guys instead of 3 on a field this size. Sports Doctor, you were off for a second. We were saying you can't be an out-of-shape official in lacrosse. I mean, these guys are logging miles tonight.
No, we're not at the Mohegan Sun for the CIC basketball tournament. This is Alumni Field here. This is these guys are good. They're real good. You know what? They put themselves in position to make the calls, and they're up and down the field. Casey, and we've said this all along through this high school sports season. Coach, you'll agree with me too. These kids are all athletes. They got wheels. They can get up and down the field and/or court, and you're seeing it right here tonight.
It's a new day. They're training.
Yeah.
You know, some of these kids are 365 days a year lacrosse. If they're not, you have so many multi-sport athletes out here. You got to give it to them.
You're a parent. Do your kids take a break?
Not really.
They don't take a break, do they?
And if they challenge themselves with the higher end classes in the high schools in this day and age, there's a lot of homework that goes with that. There's a lot of late nights to be a real student.
I love it. I mean, high school sports, college sports, get involved. I love it.
So Coach Landry used one of his timeouts. He's got Kyle Cardoza on the ball to take the ball over the ride. East Lyme has them doubled. So the question is Cardoza going to try to split these guys, or is he going to go over? Oh, he's going to go around.
He goes around, heads up the field. Now he finds his cutter, and he's got it to Erickson. And now Waterford will go into its offensive set.
Big possession here for the Lancers, Coach.
Yeah, 2-goal game, and you've got your best 6 on the field right now versus East Lyme's best 6, and this is where it gets even more fun.
Potter behind the goal, loses it, Ball loose. Out with it. Cutter. And a nice goal right in front from Ryan Huda.
And a flag.
Flag on the field. Let's see what that call is.
Huda took a shot on that one and hung in there and delivered the goods to make this a one-goal ball game.
See what the official signal is.
So the goal's going to stand. And the flag's going to stand too because it looks like it's a late hit.
Boy, Huda hung in there right inside in front of the goalie. Took a shot, delivered the goods, and has the Lancers down by 1.
So the referee waved off the penalty, saying that it was simultaneous to the shot.
Wow. Well, that's
Big-
old
that's
school
a big
lacrosse.
call.
That's
It's a
old school
big call.
lacrosse.
Big break for East Lyme. They're going to be heads up, even strength, 8-7 lead with 9:44 remaining here. But we are in for an exciting finish to this high school lacrosse game. Face-off controlled by Waterford. Bars still hasn't controlled it, but now he does. Bars heads up field, crosses midfield on a run. And out in front it goes to Lafort. Lafort finds a cutting Huda off just over the top of the net. Great look from Lafort to the cutting Huda.
Missed opportunity that time by the Lancers. Had a chance to tie the game up.
Yeah, that would have been a real sweet one-timer right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. A one-timer.
A little hockey turn.
Yeah, there you go, Coach.
Bowdish now with the ball for Waterford. Very dangerous. Checked by Norwegian. Bowdish spins to his left, looking for space. Keeps going, gets a little angle. Up the middle and into traffic. Ball loose. Who's going to come up with it? Loose ball. And we're going to get a whistle. And it'll stay Waterford
Loose
ball.
ball push again, Coach.
Again, and the kid on the ground ball is a Huda, 10.
And again, that's not a penalty. That's just a possession.
Because no one has possession of
Okay.
the ball, so it helps to determine the possession.
Casey, I would loose ball push you all day long, my friend.
Yeah, but I'd stick you.
So-
Whipped shot that time by Bowdish and a nice save by Bentley. Big save that time by Bentley, and East Lyme will break. Long pass it goes. Bauman has it. Bauman makes a run. And East Lyme now looking to take some air out of it with 8:15 remaining.
I left McCoy here in this possession on the other side of the
So,
field.
Big
Dangerous
set of
assassin.
substitutions coming right now. A lot of tired kids out there trying to get off the field.
Wholesale changes, Coach.
Wholesale. They're all flipping over the boards.
Belandis into the hands of McCoy. McCoy right up top, looking for space. Moves to his left.
And he does not need a lot of space to let that ball rip.
Swings it across to Belandis. In the X to Schaffner. And in the hands of the very dangerous Sean Williams.
Patiently burning some clock here, the Vikings.
So right now East Lyme has Waterford's Bowdish pinned on defense, and this would be advantageous for them to really hold the ball for a little while right now.
Williams, great look. And a save made by Mima. Connor Schaffner had a shot in front of the goal, but Mima with a nice save, and now Waterford with a chance with the ball down 1, 8-7, 7-11 remaining here in the ball game.
Coach, can a goalie kick the ball out of there with his feet?
Absolutely.
He can kick the ball out of the
By
crease
all
with his
means
feet?
necessary.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You just can't hand the ball.
Correct.
He can't grab the ball.
Correct.
All right, but he can kick it out. If the ball's in the crease, he can kick it out.
Absolutely.
All right.
And they do. And our goalie at Coast Guard's got some really bruised shins, and he's kicking everything he can.
Waterford now, under 7 minutes remaining, gets it into Cardoza's hands. Cardoza and Bowdish are up top on attack for Waterford. Cardoza makes a run left.
So Bowdish is now again guarded by his short stick, and he's got a good matchup right now.
Looking for some space. Bowdish goes left. That's his side. Whips a shot. Big save by Bentley. On a run, we're going to have a trip and a flag. And that's going to be a trip against Waterford.
And again, Chris Landry threw his arms up in the air saying, oh, my God.
Well, Dalton Franco seemed to have his man beat. Their feet got tangled. I don't know if that's the right call or not, but he certainly went down through no effort of his own.
And Coach Landry, like you said, Ray, he is a lacrosse guy. He played up at Springfield. He knows the game very well, and the kids seem to really take to him as well.
He's the only coach Waterford's ever had. He's been here since the origination.
No,
of the
this program is his baby then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and he's, also very influential on the youth program. He's got a 4th grade son who plays, and he's down there all the time on Sundays helping out, doing what he can.
East Lyme with the possession and a 1-goal lead, 6 minutes remaining. A whistle and a penalty.
So East Lyme just got called for a moving pick. And
I haven't seen that all game long. Why they're calling it now within the last 6 minutes.
And what's odd is that they were setting a pick, having a man advantage.
Wow.
Bars using his speed, crosses midfield, still has the ball. Laut loses it on a big check from East Lyme. Ball's loose still. Out of the pack comes the Vikings. The Vikings, nice forecheck. Waterford desperately trying to get possession. And a great job from Pezzolesi. Gets the ball on the turf, but Williams comes up with it.
Williams can scoot up that alley.
He's active.
Oh, he's got some wheels.
Good player.
Fun to watch out there, Casey.
Schaffner with the ball for the Vikings. We're heading down towards 5 minutes. Now Schaffner cuts towards the front of the goal, back out onto the wing, kicks it out to Bauman, and East Lyme will reset happily, taking some clock with them before they let a shot off.
There's McCoy lurking on the other side with the ball.
Looking for a pick. McCoy gets it. Nice switch that time by Waterford.
Waterford has 2 of their offensive midfielders trapped right now on defense.
McCoy gets a seam, tries to spin, goes right, looking for space. Nothing there. Nice job by Waterford.
Boy, he was looking to cut one loose, Casey, right there. From the top of the key.
Oh, defender falls down for Waterford. McCoy wide open in front, and he misfires high.
Yep, he's marked. McCoy and Bowdish are tangling a lot right now, and Bowdish is pinned on defense with L.J. Pezzolesi, the freshman. So this is a big possession for East Lyme.
So the offensive players who are pinned on defense.
Yeah, in that loose ball, in the transition, Waterford got their offensive players on the field, and then the ball got turned over, and they got stuck.
Williams out of nowhere with the goal. Sean Williams, quick release, bounce shot, goal, and a little bit of breathing room for the Vikings.
Well,
9-7 East Lyme.
Well, there you go, Coach. Waterford caught with their hands in the cookie jar with some offensive players on defense. The mismatch was there, and like you said, a big possession for the Vikings. They cash in with a little insurance policy there, 9-7.
You know, and the double negative really is you having to exert so much energy to play on-ball defense, and you're the top attackers, and now you got to get back out there and play offense.
Yeah.
So you're losing a little bit of legs.
Big face-off here for Waterford. Luther Wade's been doing great at the face-off all night. Waterford needs possession of this ball. And Wade had it won, but the ball loose on the turf. East Lyme comes up with it. Andrew Alden in possession for the Vikings. And he'll take it behind the net with Hoagland hounding him. Alden looking for a cutter, swings it out instead. It goes to McCoy. McCoy behind the net. Erickson on him. Good matchup there between Erickson and McCoy. East Lyme now has it down under 4 minutes and a 2-goal lead. McCoy behind the net, swings it up top. Belandis. Now over it goes to Nolan. Nolan cuts towards the goal. He's fended off there nicely by Bars. Back up top, it goes to McCoy. McCoy heads to his right. Nothing there, fires a shot and a save by Mima. But it'll stay East Lyme ball.
45 seconds on that possession before the shot taken by East Lyme. So, Coach, there you see a little bit of the milking of the clock that we talked about.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job. The ball's behind the cage a bit. They're not forcing anything, and they're just sort of waiting.
Schaffner swings it up top to Alden and then back up top to McCoy as we head down to 3 minutes remaining here in the ball game. 9-7 East Lyme.
It's one of those things, too, where you just want to see, East Lyme control the tempo. 35 to 40 seconds, is a long time to have possession without taking a shot.
If they keep this up, they're gonna basically force Waterford's hands into extending all the way. You may eventually see the goalie out of the cage and them trying to double the ball without anybody in the cage.
McCoy on the outside, swoops around the front of the goal, shoots, he scores! Here you go, Casey. On cue, your guy, Mr. Big Man John McCoy, firing one in.
Well, sports doctor there with his little opportunity at play-by-play. James McCoy.
James McCoy.
That's okay. He's related to John McCoy. John McCoy, of course, the leading goal scorer for some team you watched when you were studying up for the game. McCoy with a big breather of a goal. 10-7 now East Lyme. 2:36 remaining. That is an uphill climb for the Lancers.
So big face-off here. If this face-off goes East Lyme's way, you'd see an intentional stall. If Waterford comes up with it, they're going to have to go to the goal very quick.
Wade wins the face-off but goes down to the turf. Nicely recovered by Joseph, who heads over midfield. So Waterford does have the possession. And out of bounds, it'll turn over. East Lyme will have the ball. Now 2:22 remaining.
Coach fatigue setting in a little bit right now for the Lancers, playing too much defense.
Well, I think their top offensive players now are going to have to they're just going to have to suck it up and go at this point. Maybe you don't know if they have a step anymore.
Little two-man game with Williams and McCoy. Also out there is Nolan. So Williams and McCoy. Now McCoy with the ball straight up the middle. Erickson on him. Shoves him out of the way. Check that. It's close. Behind the net. And now back in the hands of Williams as we're down under 2 minutes. Williams with a step. He's content to recut it, though. Oh, so quick on his feet. Williams spins, heads back behind the X, and he's looking for some space, and he will be content to kick it back up top. It fires a shot out of nowhere. He's so quick with that release, but it goes wide, but it'll stay East Lyme ball with 1:30 remaining in the game.
So McCoy picks it up off the end line, and he's got a short stick matchup. Here's you see the double team I was talking about. So Waterford's got the empty net, and they're trying to double the ball to get the ball back on the ground, to get a possession.
Spin and a turn. East Lyme looking for a cutter, trying to ice this one late. Schaffner, ball in the middle, loose. Who's going to come up with it? McCoy fires a shot wide, but East Lyme will retain possession again as we're down to 1:07 remaining. They're going to have Williams come in with the ball, and he'll fire it in here. 1:07 remaining and a 3-goal lead, 10-7 for the Vikings. Waterford 8-0 coming in, certainly held their own against this Vikings team and showed they are for real in the ECC, standing toe-to-toe with the Vikings, who have been, as you said, the gold standard of the league now for a few years. Williams double-teamed on the empty net. Williams breaks pressure, rolls, kicks it up top. Nolan. And back again, East Lyme will reset it, move it around with Bogaszewski. Bogaszewski, they're trying to double him, get the ball out of his hands. 45 seconds remaining. Bogaszewski spins, hounded by Erickson. He gets it to Williams. These guys are exhausted. They have been playing very physical all night. Williams, double team, spinned nicely. Loses the ball in front. Ball loose. Wade comes out of the pack with it. He loses the ball. Ball loose. Waterford with possession on the break. Erickson. Check that. In front. Just wide. That time from Joe Lillis. And with 12 seconds remaining, East Lyme will be able to run this thing out with one pass. Long pass thrown all the way by the Vikings. Quick whistle, though, and the clock kicks down to 7.5. Now, where will that inbound?
Off the Waterford end line.
So unlike hockey with an icing, you just throw it to the other end of the field and you make the team start from their own end.
Yep.
And that is going to do it. As the clock ticks down, your final score. The East Lyme Vikings 10, the Waterford Lancers 7. A great effort by the previously undefeated Lancers, but they will fall to 8-1. The Vikings will improve to 5-4 and remain undefeated in the ECC. And for a first-timer like myself, Coach, that was a lot of fun. That was a physical ballgame.
Yeah, these kids are going to need some Advil.
That's 17 years old. Wake up tomorrow. You're good to go.
Little dirt on it.
That's right. But I was surprised, and you did allude to it earlier, that this was a more physical game. The officials let them play a little more physical than perhaps they would under normal circumstances. It certainly appeared like these kids were getting away, not getting away with, but being allowed to hit in ways maybe atypical of a high school game.
Not a lot of penalties called, even though there were some for the amount of kids that were hitting the deck. Not a lot of penalties called. The referees let them play. It was settled between the lines.
The post-game handshake from two exhausted lacrosse teams, but the Vikings will have a pleasant bus ride to the neighboring town. Always better to head home on the bus with a victory under your belt.
Yep, and if they get there quick, they can probably get to Dairy Queen and get a little victory Sunday.
And they can check out probably the second half of the Celtics-Wizards game if they get home in a hurry. I'm sure there's a couple of Celtic fans on the East Lyme lacrosse team. A hug down on the center of the field between Sean Williams and Jack Erickson, and that's a real nice sportsman. Now, like other sports, these kids probably play as teammates outside of the high school arena as well, correct?
There's a chance, with so much summer lacrosse and fall lacrosse going on, they might cross paths at some other point in time. And plus these kids are seeing each other more and more. You've got the new indoor facility up in Montville, Wide World of Sports. There's a lot of opportunities to compete against each other and make each other better.
The sports doctor is down at midfield. He's going to be with East Lyme coach Gary White. Sports doctor, take it away, my friend.
East Lyme lacrosse coach Gary Wright. Tough road game here tonight on the road here at Waterford. A big victory for you guys. What was the difference in this ball game for your squad?
I think we just got a couple shots, got a couple ground balls, couple possessions. Waterford's a great team. Coach Landry has them running. He's got a great program going here. They hustled and they fought, and it was a great game.
The tough schedule, the out-of-conference schedule, the battles you had across the state, does it help once you get in the league play?
I think it definitely does. I mean, it's just the consistency that we're looking for to make sure that we are playing up-tempo games and having the Lancers play like tonight. It's a great thing for the ECC.
What does this mean for your program and your team and moving forward for the rest of the year?
Again, each ECC game that we play is important. Our goal for the season is to win the ECCs. Try to get all those wins and then to win the tournament and then go as far as we can in the state. So every game's important to us.
East Lyme Vikings 5-0 in the ECC. Big win on the road here tonight at Waterford High School. Casey?
Thank you, sports doctor. Your final here, 10-7 East Lyme over Waterford. Now, if you could step out of coach mode and into parent mode for a second, what is young Michael Laforte's attitude going to be on the losing end of something like this? How do they approach this? Is there such a thing as a successful victory? I mean, a successful defeat, if you will.
Well, as a dad, you're going to go home and your kid's going to be disappointed. He had this day marked on his calendar for a long time. He worked towards it. All these kids here at Waterford did. I'm sure the East Lyme kids did too. I mean, we're a town away. You want to have the bragging rights. So I think Waterford right now, I don't know that they're in the mode of the moral win. They know they're a good team and they want to play really good lacrosse. Certainly it was a good lacrosse game and it was back and forth. And like Coach was saying from East Lyme, a couple of ground balls, a couple of possessions, and the game goes their way. Coach Landry and his group are doing a great job, and I think they're just going to have to rally and just get back on the horse.
Well, you would know, of course, we're so fortunate to have the Coast Guard Academy lacrosse coach Ray Laforte, whose son Michael played an outstanding game tonight for Waterford. But without you, Coach, I would have been lost tonight, and so would the sports doctor. We can't thank you enough for having you come in and let the folks at home get an idea of the strategy, the sort of behind the scenes implications of all the different plays in a lacrosse game. It's not just the action that you see or hear. There's so much going on for the educated lacrosse fan to see what's going on here on the field.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy, the game within the game. And as the region's lacrosse jumps, there's more of it. It's not just one kid taking the ball to the goal. There's a lot of boys that are playing off of what's going on there. And I think that this game right here tonight, this was a quality game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it won't be the last time you see lacrosse on game day. We are excited about the possibilities. We are bringing you more alternative sports than what we have in the past. You've got an opportunity to see something different tonight, and I expect lacrosse will be a game day feature moving forward. Join us next week, May 12th, for high school baseball, as the Ledyard Colonels will travel to the East Lyme Vikings. The Vikings fresh off of a big win over the Waterford Lancers in baseball yesterday. Very exciting state championship contending East Lyme Vikings team Friday, May 12th from East Lyme. Head coach Gary White, head coach Chris Landry, thank you both very much for being a part of our inaugural high school lacrosse broadcast. For the crew, Carlos, Tim, and of course, always put together by the great Peter Wappy, and the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, and Ray Lafort, I am Casey O'Neill saying thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.